This is a playhouse I started about 3 grandchildren ago. It's approximately 10 by 8 inside. It's got about a 12-foot ceiling, 10-foot ceiling. It's wired. And it's blank slate. The windows are all salvaged. The glass window up here was purchased for $8 at a Goodwill store. Putting this off because I really didn't know what I wanted to do with the inside of this. I'm just going to start on it. What else can I do? I'm going to put a floor in it today, and we'll go from there. Not long ago, John Hines did a video of using plywood as a floor in his house. And that gave me the idea of using plywood in the playhouse. And he used individual strips. I'm going to use a veining tool in my router to accomplish something similar. This is a crooked house, so it doesn't have to be anything precise, and will be a lot faster and less tedious than trying to put down full plywood strips. I have this V-set. Very shallow. I'm going to be staining this, so it'll accent it quite a bit. These are going to be random widths, so I've randomly put a fairly straight 2x4 on here, and I'm going to use that as my fence. So to avoid moving this 2x4 more than necessary, I've just used random pieces of scrap I've had around here as an additional fence so that I don't have to keep moving the 2x4. Probably take this one more cut and then move the 2x4. Now that all the long pieces are cut in it, I'm just going to freehand some cross members. It's fine if they come out a little bit crooked. In fact, that gives it a lot of character. Since this house is not square, I'm going to make a template using some thin strips here. So with the help of Karen, I was able to carry this very delicate pattern down here. I'm going to be using baseboard around the base, and I'm just going to use my skill saw, or circular saw, to trim this out with. Man, I hope it fits. By the way, if you saw the pergola video, I told you that those leftover 2x2s would show up in another project. This is one of them. I trimmed it in half to give me 2 equal 4-foot lengths. Could go ask Karen to help me carry this up there, but I'm going to use my handy dandy homemade plywood carrier and do it by myself. So this is a moment of truth. Got a light switch over here I'm a little concerned about. I like that. 1.5 more. I'll be attaching these with galvanized 1-inch staples, crown staples they're called, with my our Harbor Freight gun. I've had this for years. It's been a very reliable tool. So the last piece of plywood is 16 inches wide. I'm only going to need to put the V grooves on the 16 inches, so instead of doing the whole thing. So while I've got my homemade straight edge on here, I'll just use that to cut the V grooves with. I have my blue foam sticking out, so it's protecting the bench top. I'm ready to make my cut. After I got the floor down, I wanted to get it stained. I need to get it stained before the kids come out, because they'll start walking in there and it'll be really hard to get those footprints out. So I'm not sure I would recommend doing this, but I've got all these old cans of stain and they are various colors. I'll never be able to match this mix. That's why I hesitate to have anybody else do this, but these stains have been around my shop for years. That's the way to pour paint thinner. Put the top on top. And now I've cleared up all this shelf space. So I've been over every inch of this floor with my orbital sander. So I'm ready to vacuum this and get some stain on it. Almost finished. Huh? There it is. Looks pretty good. It's early afternoon. The stain is dry. I've been to Ollie's. I got a can of polyurethane and a very cheap roller. And the cheaper the roller, the more fuzz is going to come off of it. And this fuzz is going to do nothing but mess up my finish. So I'm taking some duct tape here and just pulling it off, trying to get most of that fuzz off. And you can see after going around it once, I don't know if you can see it or not, there is a lot of hair on there, including a wood chip, but a lot of fuzz. All that was going to do was come off in my finish. So I'm going to just dab it a couple more times. Make sure I get it as much off as I can. Another thing I did in preparation for opening this can, I punched 4 holes around the rim so that when I go to put that lid back on, any varnish that's in that rim will go back down into the can. So I'm ready to go here. very quick job, and it should dry with an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. So I can put on another coat. And there you have it.